Let's see if we get up here. Okay, I think we're back up. There we go. Okay, and this is your chart, and of course nobody's in there.
Yeah, and
are you in?
Okay. On Twitter, we should be getting some folks.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Go over here and get into... All right, guys, sorry about the delay. We are back. My computer just decided to crap out. So anyway, here we go. We're back up. I'm going to let Joe go ahead and take it over. There's still some stuff I need to open up, but I don't want to delay you guys anymore. So, Joe, she's all yours, buddy.
Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks, JR. And first of all, let me say it's great coming back on here again. I appreciate it, And everybody needs to subscribe to your channel and put the word out on Twitter. Get you some more subscribers on Twitter. Not that you're in there to do that, just that, there's a lot of people out there that need to know what you know. Save a lot of grief. But here we go. I think you and I brought Bitcoin, the whole crypto market, some great luck today. I think somebody knew we were coming on here, and anyway, they rallied the market up for us. That's something to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So,
hey, Joe, real quick. I'm sorry not to cut you off. Can you guys hear Joe okay? In channel, guys. Can y'all hear Joe okay? I just want to make sure. Can you guys hear him okay? Somebody say something in channel, please. Let us know if you can hear Joe okay, please. Nope. Oh, Papa says yes. Payday says no. So we got a mixed... can you guys hear him or not? Okay, he can hear you. Go ahead, Joe.
Blaze in the house. Give a shout out to Blaze. But, all right. As you can see, we're on the daily chart here, okay? And we had a big bullish engulfing candle that took out, several days, about a week of price action here, which is real positive. We're above that 12 EMA. And kind of funny how that looks, because the last, high pivot we had was above the 12. There's one. And then a lower high was above the 12. And then our next lower high is above the 12. So what we need to do, obviously, by seeing that pattern, we need to take out one of these pivot highs, okay? Because in order to start, the market momentum going to the top side, you need to start making, higher lows and then a higher high to do that. So right now, we had a high, a lower high, and then a lower high. And at this moment, as of just, today's candle, and this is Thursday's candle forming right here, that red one. But anyway, we did, close above our last little pivot high there, which is a positive. Now, if we come down the next 2 days, Thursday, Friday, I could care less. I'm still going to be, bullish on this thing, because we could then, put in a higher low above this low, then a higher low, and then have another bullish engulfing candle, to take out our previous high here, okay? So that's how we reverse it. Now, everything, I know everything starts on the 1 second chart, 1 minute chart, and everything else, but really the chart is going to show us what's going on, and where we are, where we potentially are going to be going is the weekly chart, okay? It's the strongest, farthest momentum in trends, seeing the trend and where we're going. And as you can see here, we're making, again, I'm going to keep, pushing that, high, lower high, and then right here the week, December 2nd, we made another lower high. But right now, this candle here that we're forming, now we have until Sunday, 6 o'clock Okay?
Looks like a hammer, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Hammer candle. Hammering out a bottom.
Mm-hmm. And what I'm hoping is that this green, little sliver of green here will come up higher into that 50-week simple moving average, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The higher up we go on this wick, the better, for a close. And I'm just going to say right now, whether it's on the weekly or on a daily, if we get a close above that 76.50, I think we're off, to the races. As you can see right here, let me see if I didn't want to confuse everybody, that's why I took everything off, but if you can see that blue dashed line here, so you had low pivot over here, which was support, then it's held, wick below it, then we sliced right through it. Now we're unable to get through because previous support is now, current resistance. And if we can get up and over the 50, up and over that blue dash line, which is our previous support and resistance zone, at 76.50, if you can see that, I want to say we're freaking 60% there, maybe 70% there. Okay, that's a big deal. That's a big area. Your algos, bots, traders, day traders, anybody that knows anything about charts is going to be slamming this thing once we get a confirmed daily and then for sure a weekly candle up here. So we still might, and this might happen over, the week of Christmas. We could do that. But, I'm giving all the positives out. Of course, we could just, that 50 could be just a brick wall and that, 7,600, and we could roll back down. And,
sure. Yeah, no doubt.
And so right now, I'm just giving the bullish scenario. And another thing I wanted to point out, we have, now the further away two bottoms are, where they come back and hit, the further away they are, believe it or not, that makes it that much stronger, okay? Now these two, this bottom and this bottom, we made kind of a double bottom here, and I guess you'd call that a triple, but I don't know, according to, classical technical analysis, I don't know really if I could do that since these two are so close, but, we tested this 6,500 line several times, 3 times here, as we pull back into it. And I bring that to your attention because we're in this descending triangle, and 99% of the time, these break to the downside, okay, wherever that level line is. And we tested it 1 million times in here, and that 6,500 is about the mean average of the price, sideways consolidation, the price average in here. Here's why that yellow line, and we wick down, it was bought up, wick down, bought up, wick down, bought up. So this is an important, support line right now for us. If we lose it, of course, we're going to that point 786 fib, and then also I guarantee you there's going to be 1,000%, money bet here. We're going to come down and hit that 200 simple moving average at 5,000.
That's a good point. That's a really good point, Joe. Really good point.
Yeah. So, and it's been the 200, and I'll just let you know a little secret. The more extended you are over the 200, the more likely, the higher percentage of odds that you're going to come down and test it, number one. And number two, the higher percent of the odds that when it hits is going to bounce, okay? And there's guys that trade the S&P 500, traders, and that's all they do is trade the 200 from an extended, position there. They wait until it's, certain stocks are a high percentage over that 200, and then they'll short it down, and then as soon as it gets close to 200, they'll take their shorts off and then put their long buy orders here at the 200. And you can go back, check Microsoft, Apple, Google, whatever, and you'll see each time they got around that 200, they bounced, and there was like an ATM. But anyway, yeah, this is, right now, it's just a, spinning top doji, dragonfly, it's 100 different names for it. All that you need to know is that, whenever you get these long wicks, that means something, kind of like in Texas, a lot of us drive around, not me, but a lot of people drive around.
Oh, yeah.
With their dogs with their dogs in the back of the truck, which makes me nervous right here, those long wicks, that means something's, big's getting ready to go down or happen. So anyway, if I didn't thoroughly confuse everyone, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Right now, we're kind of caught under that 76.50. I don't think the streamers and the party favors and the punchable comes out until we get a daily first and then a weekly close over 76.50, and then that's when I think that's when the party starts. Or if we lose 6,500, get ready to start the party down here at 5,000 at that 200.
Yeah, totally agree. And that's what I mentioned last night as I talked about the 200 or the 233-day moving average. If you was to go back in time, you notice that price does not stay too far below or above that line, right? It'll dictate price short term, and short term on a weekly, meaning 2 to 3 months, maybe a little bit more, but eventually price comes back to it. And if you switch to a daily, it's even better, right? It always comes back to it. It has to test that to make sure it's real or not. And so if I could, Joe, I'm going to put my chart over here just real quick and show everybody. And good points, by the way, just awesome analysis. But I'm going to show a couple of things real quick. And this is the Coinbase version of my chart, right? And so I'm going to show you guys something really cool. Okay, and not a lot of people use this. But over here on the left side, let me get my pointer focus going here so you guys can see where I'm going. It is, if I can get it up and going. Hopefully the chart doesn't crash. Let me get my pointer. There we go. Let's see. I gotta get it quick. There we go. And there. I think I got it. Maybe. Have I mentioned that I hate this computer? I think I probably did once or twice. Let's see. There we go. Got it up and going. Okay, so let me change the color on this thing. Okay, here we go. All right, so over on the left side of this chart, okay, if you go over here to where all your fib tools are, and this is something really cool. And by the way, look at your Fibonacci's that I did on this, okay? I drew one from this top to this low, okay? And keep in mind these fib extensions, okay, that I've got right here to the upside. And there's a couple that go back further that are lined up in here. But what happens when I go to a fib-based or a trend-based fib extension, okay? If I click on that, and this is really cool, okay? So go over here and look at this area. And if you've watched my futures chart, I kept talking about how this area and how the squeeze indicator was very similar to what was going on right over here. And that's why I gave a red alert, right? So if I take this decline that we had right over here, okay, and I draw the fib-based trend, and I go from that high to this low, okay, and then I drag it across to where this downtrend started, okay? See right up in here? Where do you think the bottom's at? It's right here down where that extension is, right? That decline equaled this decline. Now it may have come close on days, but price-wise it hit it on the button, almost. So now what am I going to do? I'm going to take another trend-based fib extension, and I'm going to say, okay, well, what's going to happen if we do the exact same move that we had happen over here in late October? So I'm going to draw it from the low to the high, and then I'm going to extend it back over to this. Look at this. Does that just magically happen where this lines up at the 78.6 retracement of this move? Right? Does it line up just perfectly with it? I think so. So I'm not going to say that we're getting there like tomorrow or the next day, but I'm just saying like this is something to keep in the back of your mind, because with Bitcoin anything is possible, especially with short squeezes, etc. So, and especially how these Bollinger Bands are so tight, they have to expand at some point, right? So just keep that in the back of your mind. This area right up here, 9,500. Okay, and I know that's going to seem crazy to a lot of people. They're going to be like, oh, well, we're in this downtrend. Well, we dropped off here. We made a lower low, right? Barely a lower low. And what happened over here? This is what I was wanting to have happen. We made a lower low. Slightly lower low. Okay? So just keep that in and not only that, but we're going to come back and test the 200 and 233-day moving averages. So anyway, just something I wanted to throw out there. Kind of cool how fibs and trend-based, you look at symmetry in the market. You go back, and some people call it fractals. Okay, I get it. What happened back here and what happened back here could mean this happens or that happens. But anyway, that's just what I wanted to throw out there. Okay, that's my stupid little point. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, no, I need to get linked up on that, on the fib, that new, and that's very interesting. Love to do that. Let's take a look. If my chart's back up there,
it is. Yep, your chart's back up, buddy.
At Litecoin here, and well, with this just, obviously the daily, and had that bullish engulfing, we took out really hard the previous bearish engulfing candle. Had 2 down days, and as long as we trade inside this candle, even to the 38.38 or even 0.50 fib, if you just ran it on this candle, we could, like I was saying about Bitcoin, make a higher low and then come back up for a higher high. And it's much pressure, down pressure that's on us, and then all the moving averages that are coming down too. Like you were alluding to, well, you came out and said it. It's not going to be an overnight deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take some sideways, price consolidation, putting in those higher lows and coming back up. And I know everybody wants to know, hey, is this the bottom? Is this, where are we now? How is this, stacked up? But, if we go back, where we were last year, kind of sort of close to this time.
Oh, yeah.
This was December 10th. And actually, this candle kind of gave you a hint. That's the weekly, so that I could put everything on here and people could see. Right down at the bottom, you could see that was definitely a potential reversal candle. But as you look at it, it's not that big a volume. There was no huge, like over here to the left, these big buy volume candles. Very little hint that we're getting ready to reverse. And we had a bullish engulfing for the week. Okay, that's still what we...
Well, you know what you had there. You know what you had there, Joe. If you scroll back in on it and look at it, you know what you had right here. That is a morning star. That is like in a downtrend, and you get that big red stick, and then you get a doji, and then followed by a green stick.
Right.
That's a morning star pattern right there. That is an indicator that a reversal is about to happen. And then you get that big move.
And it definitely, you were spot on. It definitely did.
Now, one could get confused and get even scared because you see this up move, right? And then it's followed by a bearish engulfing candle right here. So some people would be like, okay, well, that really wasn't the bottom, but then they get suckered out and then it goes higher. So,
yeah, basically what they were doing, they made a low, a high, a higher low, and then this one took out previous, higher high.
Absolutely.
And then it was off to the races. But see this candle right here? Let me put up I don't know if it works on Litecoin. I know it works for, let me take this one off. And we are in a downtrend. So see how this hammer was hammering in the top, and then we just rolled over, and this could hammer in the bottom if it closes up higher is what I'm getting at. So this could potentially be a little scripted signal that we could be going back to the high side pretty soon. And plus it's 3 down weeks, and sometimes after that 3 you get the fourth week, like right here, 1, 2, 3, then you get a green reversal.
Right.
So we could be working on that. Now let me go to this is pretty interesting how people put a lot of credence in these crossing of these weekly moving averages.
Yeah. Death cross. Yeah.
Yeah, the death cross.
Death cross.
Right here, see how this candle right here lines up with the cross, and see how everybody's sold, not everybody, but a lot of people sold off on that thinking we were going to go to $1,000 or $500 or whatever. So everybody sold off, and what did the market do? We're not ready to sell off, and the rest is history. But I thought that was just kind of funny how they don't always work out. The people with 50,000 followers or 100,000 people on YouTube saying this is the death cross or ultra bearish cross, and it doesn't always work. You need confirmation by the pattern too. Now we crossed up over the 50 over the 100. Now according to a lot of people, we should already be up here in $10, $11, $12,000 because of that. But we're below those two moving averages. Need to get up above, like we were talking about earlier, above that 50 to get things going. But just because we crossed up doesn't mean we can't, like you were saying, flip down a little bit more, or whatever. But wanted to, bring that to your attention. And then also, let me take these off. Let me put that. I just love the 21 on this weekly chart. As you can see, I mean, if you did nothing else in the history of, Bitcoin was buying out. Some couple of times you got, whipsawed in and out, but if all you did was buy when we closed above the 20 and sold when we closed under it, I mean, you're not on, you're not listening to this YouTube video. You're sitting on a beach somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
So, going back to really, I don't know, the whole history of this deal. And there's not one moving average or one indicator that's, the magic, be-all, end-all indicator. But it definitely has worked so far, with Bitcoin. Like, even if you, like, right in, you got in on the 21 and wrote it, then, got out here, even though that's a big drop, you still made, I forget what it was a big percentage there, but you probably would figure it out that we had a double top here, and then when we took out this low down here, that, we were going to continue down. But anyway, and then also you had this double top here, came down, up, double top, then made a higher low, higher low. A lot of people got faked out because of the death cross, and then rest is history. But I don't know, if I was, someone out there, I would just kind of, if you have dry powder is what I'm saying, I'd probably, this is not financial advice, but I'm just saying I might hold off until we get a daily at least, preferably a weekly close over that 76.50. Now, there's a lot of people, I don't know what the cult following is about XRP, but the only one I have on here is on Coinbase, because a lot of people trade on Coinbase. But me, right now, it's not even on the daily, until we take out that bearish engulfing candle that had all, see that?
Yeah, true that. Yeah, true that. I see it right there. And what is that? 20 cents or something like that. Yeah.
Take that out. Yeah. And then XTZ, see how it lows at 21?
Mm-hmm.
We came back, look at that, nicked it here. And why it's not running with Bitcoin, I don't know. I guess it's too detached from Bitcoin now, or people were just scaling out, because of how much, what a big rise it's had. But a lot of these, and you might be more, intelligent talking on it than I am, but the staking, I know we're kind of switching gears here, but I think the staking of these coins, and I'm old school, I call it a dividend.
Right. Oh, yeah.
A little payment off the side. That's going to be the thing of the future. Can you imagine investing in enough of these, like the XTZ, the Link, and OX, which is, I believe, ZRX.
ZRX, yep, sure is.
And then maybe Stellar even. And, 3, 4, 5 of these are being, staked out on, Coinbase or wherever. And you have enough enough investment in there that, you're making, I don't know, 800,000, 1,500 a month.
Right.
Off of that. In the future, that might be where a lot of, long-term, investors go, for as opposed to the stock market,
right.
And that type of deal, because they can, trade them out a little bit easier and actually use them, for other things. And see, with the stock market, that's just a one-dimensional investment.
Right.
But with cryptos, you can use them in a variety of ways.
Sure, absolutely.
So I think that's the hedge here. And then also, just to help, I'm not trying to give a motivational speak, but I think even though the stock market, the Dow could run to 50, 30,000, 50,000, whatever, at some point, the institutions are going to slowly roll over. And I truly believe that the cryptocurrency, these coins, they're going to be the next bubble. Everything that Wall Street has touched, they've blown it up into a bubble, an asset bubble, until the thing just exploded. Look at the housing, the tech bubble, everything else, and how many stock bubbles we've had, since the 30s. So I think this is the next one they have their eye on.
Well, you have to be really selective too. You have to be very selective in what you get into, because not all of these are going to run,
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to be really selective. And one thing that I've been noticing, and real quick, I'm just going to go real quick. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Joe.
I'm done. Yeah.
So I'm looking at my futures chart, okay? And a lot of people, when I say a lot, there's probably a few that are like, how do you come up with a red alert, right? And my explanation to it is, it's just, part of it is intuition. Most of it is just looking at the charts, right? And so when I see something like this that we saw back in here, and I think I already went over this, but when I see this little decline, and then when I see the red dots above after bearish momentum has been, it's like the bears are trying to get their last shot in before something happens, right? And so when I see those red dots above the histogram, that lets me know it's red alert time, right? That's red alert, okay? And then you get the big explosion that happens, which turns something into a green dot. And so what happened over here, I went red alert back in here, expecting, and I think I posted about it, I was like expecting a lower low, slightly lower low, I think is what I posted, before we went up. And then the only other thing that I loved about this was, like, we're in this, like, look at this. It's a falling wedge. I don't know if there's a lot of people that are posting about this. I don't look around on Twitter all that much, but that's a falling wedge, guys. That is a falling wedge. And so if we break out of this, we still have a gap up here at almost 12,000 to fill. Okay? I'm going to take this out of here because we filled this gap, right? So I'm going to get rid of that. We filled the gap. There was a gap right there. We filled it. And I'm going to take out that red line as well. Whoops. There we go. Let's remove that. And remove that. Okay, so the gap's filled. But the other thing, too, is like, if you notice, and I talk about this and I harp about it like all the time, what happens when price moves outside of the Bollinger Bands? It gets back inside, right? And so right here, we had price move outside the Bollinger Bands when they were obviously curling back in. So when you see something like that, that's almost like a given, you know, and obviously you could wait until it hits a Fibonacci extension. But when it hits that and price is outside Bollinger Bands, what should you be doing? You should be buying. Don't be scared that it's going to like go all the way to 1,000 or 2,000 like some of these idiots on Twitter are trying to tell you. Just buy it. That's outside the Bollinger Bands. It's going to pop back inside at some point within the next day or two. It's all about risk, and that's what this market is. It's all about risk. Are you willing to take that risk? You know, right here's a risk. But if you take it, then look what happens. You get an $800 or 800 pip bounce, and you're like golden. So, but basically, here's what I'm trying to say. The histogram is getting ready to go flat, right? I am expecting, and this is my opinion, okay, my opinion only, I think we're going higher. I mean, I know some people are still thinking, okay, we're going to come all the way back down here, but seeing that we've had a bullish engulfing, and I've seen too many of these in my past to tell me that this is not going to work. It's a percentage game, okay? Bullish engulfing to me is about a 90% chance that we're going higher from here. If it's the 10% against me, then so be it. I live with those odds. That's what the market's about. Again, if we knew exactly where it was going and when it was going, we'd all be millionaires, right? And we wouldn't be in here listening and trying to get advice, which again is not financial advice, but on charts. So it's all a risk, guys, and you have to play the percentages. You have to trust it, right? And if you don't trust it, then why are you even here? So, you know, when something looks bad and it looks like crap, that's when I usually try to buy it. But I want to buy it at areas that I think is going to bounce. I'm going to be wrong on some stuff, guys. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There's probably not a lot of people out there that'll tell you they're wrong. If you go on Twitter, they're all right. Right? Every one of them. Oh, yeah, I called this. I called that. You know, hey, I've posted 2 calls in Discord, XRP and what was the other one? Anyway, both losing trades. It happens, right? But we try to minimize our losses so that we're not out of the game. We stay in the whole game. The whole goal here is to stay in the game. You want to stay in the game. Don't break yourself. So anyway, with that being said, I think we go higher from here. I think this area right in here, right, where the 200-day moving average and the 50 are coming down, this 8,300 area, I think that's going to be an area to watch. And if it breaks through that, you'll get a little bit of a pop, and then we probably go to that area I was talking about on the Coinbase chart, right? That 78.6. So, and then who knows? We got a gap still to fill up here at 11,795. So let's just see how it plays out, right? I mean, don't be surprised. Bitcoin can do something like this. We've seen it in the past, right? And it doesn't take long. It's like a week, or in this case right over here, it was, you know, a couple of days, and then it came down. So just keep that stuff in mind. Anyway, that's what I had on the futures chart. So, Joe, you got anything else?
Oh, yeah, I have mine up, and I was going to show you.
Yeah.
And anyway, I wasn't really even paying attention to these things, well, to that futures chart until you started way back in the day, you know, posting up about it, and I started watching it. probably had already seen it, but anyway, and put this little shaded area here because we had a gap.
Yes.
The other day
on the 4-hour chart. Yep, we sure did. Yep.
As we were going to extreme lows,
mm-hmm.
and I said, well, the positive, we have this little gap up here we still need to fill. And look at that, this candle right here on the 4-hour, the one that we closed on for today, came up, and I mean, you couldn't get it more to the penny of the close of that gap.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it ran from the absolute low all the
mm-hmm.
way, closed the gap, and then, of course, even went up above. But that's kind of where we are right now. It's not tumbling. I thought we were going to, and we still can come back in here, a little deeper. But as long as we don't take out on the CME futures chart. See, we still have a gap up here too. Over 11,000 right here as well. So I'm going to take this one off, and I think all of them are filled except for the one up here, over 11,000 that we still have to to take out. And this one we filled it, backfilling here into it. But anyway, as long as we don't, that's a lot of volume that came in higher than several weeks today. That green volume bar. That's all. I'm not going to say it's. I was trying to see. Yeah, you have to get back into June of this year to see comfortable volume on that, which is kind of a positive. But anyway, that's about unless somebody we have any type of coin. Hey, do you want to take a look at the stock market right quick for grins and giggles?
Sorry about that. I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. What'd you say now?
Oh, I didn't know if you wanted to take a look at the legacy market just for grins and giggles, kind of see. There's this is a daily chart. It's S&P 500.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
I think there's cracks in the foundation coming up. Here's the weekly, and this is pretty wild to see. Got this huge, ascending wedge formation. Now, we did pop out of it, technically, but if we get back in here, we could come down, pretty good. We have this uptrend that we hit 1, 2, 3, 4 times, broke above it. And we haven't we came back and retested it here, I see. Okay. Because most times you come back and retest, and they already did. But now that we closed, even this fib is off. I haven't checked it in a while, this fib line. But what I'm looking for is a big, up here at the top, a big reversal candle, kind of like this one over here, but, in the opposite direction. A big hanging man or something.
Joe, me and you are on the same page, bro. In fact, I'm going to pull my chart. I'm going to pull my chart over and show you real quick. And I got a Fibonacci number in there, right? So if you look at this, and I'll scroll in a little bit so you can see it. I mean, mine's pretty much extended, but I'll just show you. We are hitting the 161.8 fib retracement right now. Yeah, I mean, right there, 3206 is where the 161.8 is. Now, I will say this as a caveat. If it breaks that, okay, then we're coming up and it's going to make a big move to 3290. Okay? So I'm not expecting that, but I'm seeing, like you were talking about, and here we go. Price was outside Bollinger Bands right over here, and now it's creeping back in. I could see a move all the way back to 3141. So I could see the S&P dropping 50 points, maybe even lower all the way to the 50 EMA. And that's 3080. That's a bigger move. So
right. Yeah, that would be the first stop for sure. And
yeah.
If you look at the 50, I'll show you have yours up too, but on my chart, I have the 50 up, and we're getting to the point. We've only been this extended over it one other time recently. That was around January, the 1st of 2018. We've been this extended above it, and we're beginning to be there now. So I could see, honestly, I think this thing could make a big dump to the downside.
It really could. Absolutely, it could.
Yeah, January, February, because as you can see, we don't, if you look at that going all the way back, let's just go back to 2012, we don't get that extended over the 50 before we come back and retouch it, and we're getting there.
Well, and just to follow up on what you're saying, I mean, and this all ties in, is that in my experience, what happens is that at the end of the year, guys are trying to pad their pocketbooks, right? All these brokers, they want to run everything so they can get their bonuses, etc. And then everybody always talks about the first of the year, how new money is flowing in. And that's true to a certain extent, but I think probably by, maybe the first of the year, maybe even there might be some guys trying to sell toward the end of the year, just to book those profits. And then by the end, or by the first of the year, you're going to see guys coming in, brokers and whatnot. You'll probably see a little bit of sideways stuff. And then once that buying is done, then you're going to see the drop.
Yeah.
It's like January is typically not a good month for the market.
Yeah. The first of the quarter. Yeah, starting a new quarter and everything. But also, not to change tracks, but let's look at gold. Look at the gold futures here. So now I've had this on here a little bit.
Oh, nice. Bull flag.
Yeah, and I'm thinking if we hit that 1500, that would be the top of the trend line. We got to close over that 1500. Of course, we have this bearish engulfing to close over too, but
sure.
If we get over that 1500, I think it might be on for gold. And if this is halfway correct, this pole here, that could send us pretty.
It really could. It could send it to the roof. And not only that, but gold, gold typically goes in the same direction as Bitcoin for the most part.
Yeah, I put on there, if we ever break 1500, they were saying gold, then silver, then cryptos, kind of in that order of the next run. And I think that was Bo Pony, speaking that, and everybody has an opinion on poor Bo, but
man, I'll tell you what, Joe, that's a hell of a chart you got right there, buddy. That's really, really well done. That gold chart, that's really well done. And I think Vaughn Colors in our Discord channel, he had a very bullish scenario on gold as well. So it's nice to see that we're getting some confirmation. You know what I'm saying? So you know what though? So if I could, I know there's probably some guys that are getting kind of antsy. They probably want some. Let's go to questions real quick because we've been kind of babbling on. Let's go ahead and get it to the guys that are in channel. Guys, do y'all have any chart requests? Any chart requests or questions?
Support right here, and this area on the wicks, then we, blew through it like a hot knife through butter. If we get back up there, and that'll put us towards the top, maybe we can get,
a breakout. Yeah.
Yeah, there might be a lot of people, sitting here waiting for 1750 plus.
Yeah.
To get back in there to confirm a potential run. But if anybody has any coins.
They do, actually. SPND. Brian wants to see SPND, spend coin.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know why it is, but that coin is on my chart. It's weird. There's something. Sometimes it comes in.
Yeah, I'll see if I can pull it up on mine real quick. Let's see here. Oops.
Yeah. Well, here it is. I mean, it's.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Sometimes it'll blow up, and sometimes it'll melt down.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so long as we keep above whatever number that is, above this blue dash line, I think you're safe to go.
Yeah, it's one of those that, it looked, and I think I put a call out on this in channel one day, and it broke below support. It looked like support was going to hold, and it just broke below it, and never did do anything. I mean, but now I've seen this too much in the past, is that, it gets to that area and you're like, okay, well, it goes below where everybody's stops are. Is it going to take off? And sure enough, the day after our people got stopped out, hopefully for a small loss, it wasn't like 2 days later and then it takes off. It's like, it's just kind of weird how they're doing this stuff. But yeah, your chart looks real similar to mine. So you're spot on right there.
Okay.
All right, guys. Any other chart requests? Type them in. We're taking them. Chart requests. Type them in the channel. Atom, ATOM. That's been a good one lately.
Oh, Adam, yeah.
Yeah, sure has.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you got the same thing almost as I do. Yeah, pretty close. Yeah.
Cool.
You got that trend line in there. Mine was actually from the wicks. I think you probably got yours from the body or something, but I can pull mine over real quick. Let's see. So here's my atom chart. And I was actually, I was wrong when I was thinking about this back in here. And let me change my pointer focus because obviously it is the wrong color. Let me get it on there where you guys can see it. There we go. All right. So I think it was back in here or maybe back here. I thought that Atom would probably come back and retest this trend line. But it didn't. It held the 20-day moving average, right? Which is right here. Bing, bing, and bing. So it tested it right here. So in my opinion, okay, as long as that 20-day moving average holds, you're good. Okay? So what do you want to do? You want to throw on some fibs. You want to take a look at it real quick, and let's just take a look and see what we got. Let's just do a fib retracement from this low to this high, and then let me go in here and change the settings, get out the old stuff that it passed through, 30, 50. So it held the 61.8, okay, on that retracement. And then if you wanted to do, I don't know that I want to call that a top yet. That's the only problem. It is close to the upper Bollinger Band, but the upper Bollinger Band, as long as it just rides it higher, this thing could just keep going, right? To me, your area to watch, and if you're trailing up stop losses, is your 20-day moving average. It's been golden in the past, right? Let's go back and look at it. Once it broke above the 20, okay, and especially right back in here in that trend line, every time it comes down, it's holding the 20. So to me, I would say if it breaks that 61.8 right there at 54.03, that's probably your first sign that it's going to make a bigger move to the downside and maybe test this trend line. But for now, I would be potentially buying the dips The only thing that concerns me about this one, possibly for a deeper retracement, and especially if Bitcoin starts to really take off, I think we've all learned in the past what happens to Bitcoin crosses on altcoins. They get crushed because everybody's going to want to rush into Bitcoin. They're going to sell their altcoin and go right back to Bitcoin. So this bearish engulfing right up here at the top, and you notice how it's outside the Bollinger Bands? See that Bollinger Band that got outside? What happens when it gets outside Bollinger Bands? It comes back inside. So I wouldn't panic on this one. I would just say be cautious, and if it gets below that 20-day moving average, then you may want to take some off the table. So that's kind of what I got on Atom. I mean, I think at some point eventually it's going to come back and test that trend line again, whether it's here, here. You know, there's no telling just yet, but there's a lot of volume that came into this thing. So somebody was either FOMOing into it, pumping it, or getting the heck out. Okay. Oh, wow. Here we go. Joe, I'll let you take... Let's see. Let's go to... Let's see. Ixler wants to look at Zen. Zen BTC, and I'll let you do that one.
Oh, BTC. Okay.
No. Zen. Z is in zebra. Yeah.
Yeah, we got it here.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, be honest with you, I like to look at a lot of these altcoins, you know, on the weekly chart or a 3-day chart, because they move so sporadically, and it just slows everything down, you know, for me. And I can kind of see with all these big wicks and stuff, it's hard to determine, you know, what's going on. But just recently, it popped up and over and closed above this high pivot around that blue dash line.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next high pivot zone, I haven't thrown a fib up here, but that'll be the next, you know, kind of target, which is already hit technically. And then, as you can see, we're getting a little overextended above this 12. So if they're not in it yet, just wait.
Absolutely.
Will come down, you know, just like it got above the 12 here, but it did sideways consolidation, and then it finally, you know, came into the 12. It always comes back into the 12. Okay, let me.
That is such a great point, Joe. I mean, too many people try to FOMO into something, and you just made a great point. Just let it retrace back to you, because it will.
Yeah, well, I'll show you here on Litecoin, you know, starting here when we started taking off, you know, the end of 18, and then, you know, we ran up to whatever it was. As you can see, every major run-up, it either went sideways or it came back down into the 12. And you could put the 10-day, you know, 10-day movement, you know, the 10, 20, whatever, all that sideways consolidation here, then we blew up. People were going, oh my goodness, you know, I'll never get in. But see, boom, it came back down. And really, you could have gotten in at the high of this candle here, even though you thought you might have missed it. And actually, we came down almost to the same breakout level.
Absolutely. Well, but it wants to test old resistance.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Old resistance becomes new support. Yep.
But regarding Zen, because we kind of zoomed right past it, I'm trying to see what. Yeah, if I were looking to get it, I'd wait until we, you know, hit that 12.
Wow.
Again.
Wow.
And
Wow.
then maybe, let's see. Yeah, we're coming at that point.
Yeah.
3A. Yeah, we're beginning to hit, you know, some of those fibs as we go up.
And you know what that looks like to me? I mean, when you got that chart right there where it is, a V bottom. It's a possible V bottom.
Boom, and then boom.
Yeah, that's a V type bottom, and that's really powerful, guys. That's like totally reversing what happened in the past. That's huge. Nice chart. Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see, Joe. Let's see, somebody. Oh, Mass Ninja, just for giggles, Apple.
Oh yeah, I got that. Hold on.
Hopefully, you're still in here, Mast.
Oh my gosh, yeah. This is. Well,
Oh my God, I haven't looked at Apple in forever. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. That's crazy. Oh my
but
God.
See, what freaked me out is that this little Wall Street trick here, you can go over here and get your price range from the recent low to the high.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have a pullback.
Mm-hmm.
So go in here and get your pullback range. Okay, 20%. Okay, so it ran 50% up. So you start here and then you run it up 50%. Let's see, right in here. It's just close up for government work. And then we're supposed to have gotten, I mean, technically, and this truly works. After
Wow.
you dip, run again, we're supposed to pull back, 20% down
Correct.
to here again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now we're like, well, at the close today.
Hey, you know what? Zoom in on the the last. There you go. Zoom in just a little bit more. There you go. Is that a gap I see?
Well, right
There's
here,
several gaps. Yeah, there's several gaps.
Oh yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting when this thing starts, losing momentum.
Oh yeah. There's people. The smart people right now are probably shorting this. They're probably scaling in, is my guess. They're scaling in. Look at your volume. Volumes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As the institutions are scaling out.
Yeah, they
all
are.
those guys, the only reason why they're holding this is because they got to make it, like you were saying earlier, they got to make it look good because the
Absolutely. Yeah.
end of year reports, the last quarter of the year reports are going out, and by God, your hedge fund, your pension fund, whatever, better be an Apple. You're going to be compliant,
Exactly
So
right.
so everybody's on there, and then it's, after the first of the year, I think really, January, I don't know, like you were saying, January, February, we could see some,
Oh, it's good. There's going to be some excitement to the downside. I'll promise you that. There'll probably be some rumor or Apple sales are off or, something. I mean, because right now everybody's buying because what's happening? Everybody's buying Apple phones for Christmas. That's why their numbers are going up. And so after that is when you're going to get, let's scroll back to last year.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was a down.
It was a down. Yeah, it went down toward the end of the year and then reversed after the first of the year. So earnings, I can't remember. There was something going on back then. I can't remember what it was. China something or, yeah.
Yeah. But see, they had kind of that V-bottom recovery.
They really did, yes. Absolutely.
And then came back up.
Yeah. Sure did.
And also, what was surprising is that, what those suckers did? Oh my God, that is brilliant. I popped a line here.
Oh, you see that little wick? Yeah, that little down wick you got over there to the right. Yeah, it came right down close to it. Yeah.
Yeah, what they did, they gapped it up over the freaking high pivot over here. Because the further away the high pivot or the double top,
They darn
the
sure
stronger
did.
they are.
Yeah, they darn sure did.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah. It's amazing what you can find when you zero in on stuff. That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah. And then, like you said, they always come back and retest it.
Yeah.
So they bounced it up, came back, kind of sort test, and the rest, they just kept running it up.
Yeah, that almost makes me want to buy some Apple puts and maybe put them out to like maybe March or April.
Oh yeah, I think that would be.
I think those would be golden. I really do.
Yeah. Because there's just too many things structurally that's not good with this. Right
Yeah,
now.
no doubt.
As far as the trend lines and having to come back.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And then if you do this, Joe, throw on a fib retracement from your dotted line to the left down to the low, to the left over here.
Oh, right here. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
draw that fib down to the low, and then go to your settings.
Okay.
Click on just that line, and then go to settings, and then take out your 0, all your lower ones. Take out all those lower ones. Yep. Take out the 50, 78.6, and then throw in 1.272 over to the right there, and throw in 1.618. Okay. Take out the 1.272. There you go. Okay, because it's already past it. And then just click OK on it.
Okay.
There you go. And then scroll in and go up and look and see where price is. Scroll.
Oh, yeah. Looks like 289. Well, 290.
290. There you go. 290.
290.
So it's getting close. It's getting really close.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, that's nuts. That's probably going to be the high for it. And if it passes that, then it's just, it's like moonshot time. I mean, but this is getting kind of ridiculous as far as the trajectory, and I haven't even seen Bollinger Bands or anything like that. So, I just think that thing is like getting way extended.
Yeah, and then, it's kind of a monthly on it.
Oh, my God.
I mean, that is crazy.
That's nuts.
Starting really back in,
Hey, could have got it for $1.
Look at that. It was $1 at one time.
Yeah, could have got it at $1.
It was a freaking penny stock at one time. You know what I mean?
Well, that's when Steve Jobs took over. Steve Jobs took over. I think he took back over like late 90s, and that's when it really took off. Yeah. Yeah, if you see right over here, that's when Steve Jobs took over, and that's when the iPhone and all that stuff came out, and then it's just been going nuts ever since. So.
Right. Well, that's I don't think it'll take that long for some of these, like you were saying, getting to the right coin.
Yeah.
But some of those guys that are, messing around under $1.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and I think the coins don't reach. They're taking 10 years or whatever. I think they could reach it a lot, like half that time.
Some of those could, absolutely. Yeah, it's that's why you have to be really picky on what you're getting into, and what. But as far as Apple, you see that little 1.618. That's going to be your number to watch right there for a retrace, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. That sounds 89.
Yep.
290.
Exactly.
What? The market loves whole round even numbers.
Yeah.
And we'll come back. We'll have a $300 Apple party.
Oh yeah,
party.
they will. They will. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Guys, do y'all have any other chart requests? Throw them in the channel. Type them in. If y'all have something you want us to look at. I know we kind of veered off from altcoins and stuff like that, but if you got anything you want us to look at, type it in channel, please. We'll do it. Oh, EOS. EOS.
Okay. Yeah. I want to make sure I got my fib back right.
Ixler, did you want the BTC pair or the USD pair? And guys, if you do have a chart request, make sure to put what pair.
Yeah, you want me to do Bitcoin or?
Do EOS Bitcoin, I guess. Yeah. Ugh. Oh wait, There we go.
Okay, that's daily. Here's the daily.
Okay. Yeah,
See this?
Chopping around. Just chopping. Yeah.
Man, it's hard to, I'll tell you what, it looks like this level right up here.
Oh, he wanted USD pair, Joe. If you can go to that one, please.
It's probably easier, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's like a lot of other alts, XRP, Link, XLM, and all that. They've been steadily going down. Let me see here. I don't know how valid this trend line is, but first...
It looks pretty good to me.
Okay, and I'm trying to see what would be the catalyst here. Well, let me put in where we are. I don't know. Well, maybe this high pivot here coincides with this downtrend line. So if you get up and over 280, 290, that might be the ticket, but, for a more conservative, hey, we're already run. I know people like to get, as close to the bottom as you can, but, I think a lot of times these breakouts, catching her a breakout is safer, because you're making a lower high as well, a lower high, lower high, lower high, again, lower high. You got to take out one of those lower highs first, and if you do it off this long term, going back to, January of this year, if you were to take out that trend line and that high pivot, and by that time, the 50 would probably be in that area. You could probably be over the 50, over that lower high pivot and that down trend line. So that's a trifecta, and you probably double off of that. Or
Here's kind of what, I'll just throw mine over there real quick, and I'll just show what I've got.
Because look, the 200's way up here.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing.
You get over the 50. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing that I don't like about EOS just yet, even though I think it's probably short term, it could be okay, is that here's a couple of things. Okay, is that you've got back over here. Okay, look where indicator was. All right, and you got a price right here. Indicator was down here. Okay, you get over here to where we made a lower low, and your indicator is down here. It's higher. That's a bullish divergence, right? And not only that, but you're at key support over here, from over here, and you're real close to the 1.272. So this thing could hit $2.04 and then turn. But if it loses this area right here, it's more than likely coming down to like $1.55. So just be forewarned. But the only thing is that look at this. Price was outside Bollinger Bands. It's almost like it's going to trade pretty much the way Bitcoin does. Let's put it that way. All right? Because it did bullish engulfing right here on the daily chart. Price was outside lower Bollinger Band. And then it comes in. Now it's testing the 10 EMA. The next point to get above is the 20. And once it breaks that, then you start coming up and testing this little area right over in here where everybody was wanting to get the hell out. Right? So that's kind of what I got on it. As long as this and it, when you do a bullish engulfing off major support, right? This line over here, bullish engulfing, that just tells me it's going to go higher. Right? I think this is going higher short term. So, if that helps. So anyway, I'll get that out of the way. What do we got here in the channel?
I got a question from the...
Oh, wait. Hey, sorry to interrupt, Joe, real quick. I just want to take care of the viewers real quick. Ixler says he's curious he hears the doom and gloomers talk about a crash coming. Is there any way to see that on charts, or does it just happen?
Yeah, you can see it on the charts. Nothing crashes overnight. There's always, indicators. Now, are they talking stock or crypto or something in particular, or which crash is he talking about?
Yeah, Ixler, what are you talking about? Are you talking about like on Bitcoin, or are you talking about like the stock market? Because you got to remember, to me at least, and I don't know about Joe, but to me, crash, as far as crash, is something down like 50-60%.
Yeah, that's a crash. A pullback is your, 10, 15, 20%, especially if you're talking about the stock market. I mean,
he's talking about the S&P. He's talking about stocks, S&P.
Okay, great. Well, this is I have the SPY up. It's an ETF that follows the S&P 500, and a lot of people trade it and watch it. And as you can see, like right here, we had a potential, this is a daily, potential reversal candle here. Some people might call it a hanging man. You really need it a little bit higher up to be a hanging man. You can, chime in too, JR, if you want. But and then yesterday and today, we've had, 2 pullback days, but not deep, 2 red candle days. Now, a lot of, the only reason why I know this, because the 2 guys I was mentored and trained by, they were Wall Street traders. But anyway, they were saying it makes sense going into the holidays, whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, 4th of July, whatever, especially this time you're going to Christmas, a lot of traders and stuff, it's all almost automated now. The closer you get to Christmas, especially.
It sure is.
And also, believe it or not, the lower the volume, the easier it is to float it a little bit higher.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Going, especially, and then Friday, this week, and then all next week, it's going to be hardly anything. So we could even float up higher and make even more all-time highs. Okay? But let's go to the weekly here, and sometimes it's easier to see, or so. See, I don't even know if I would see such a small percentage pullback. And the gloom and doom, there's generally, 2 people. See, that's only a 3% pullback right there. Bitcoin, I've been a 15, 20% pullback. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. To me, I think, in my opinion, I mean, here's what I'm looking at. Here's your S&P 500 chart, okay? And this is a weekly chart, okay? So from the time that Donald Trump took office, right? And so this is back when everybody probably thought Hillary was going to win, whatnot. And this thing has just blasted off ever since he took over, right? So back in here, I think this little dip right in here was like the start of the trade war, right? That was probably all the China stuff that was going on, was going to hurt the economy, whatnot. But the market didn't seem to, it cared back here, but then it was like, you know what? I think something's going to get done. He's not going to let the economy crash. Donald Trump will not let the economy crash. Trust me. He's all over the Fed chairman. He wants lower interest rates. He wants everything to be fair globally, right? Too many times, all these countries like the EU and Japan, they're lowering and China especially. China's the worst manipulator of currency I've ever seen in my life. But they're all doing it to their advantage. And screw the U.S., right? And Donald Trump is like pissed. He's like, no, why do we have to sit there and let these other countries do that to us? And that's why he's all over the Fed chairman to lower interest rates. My only worry is that we're so much in debt. we keep going lower with interest rates, especially when supposedly, quote unquote, and I'm doing my fingertips here, quote unquote, the economy is doing so great. Why are we lowering interest rates? That's my worry. Because if the economy is doing great, we should be raising interest rates, right? Gradually. Not massively, but gradually. And so we're going to find ourselves eventually in some point where we're into a inflationary turning into a deflationary environment. And so whether that comes to pass in Donald Trump's tenure, I don't know. But eventually we're going to have to face the market. And the market's going to tell us. Right now it's telling us we're not too much worried right now. But this could be all just people trying to get the bang out of their buck before we start to come down. And so we'll see that. I just don't think Trump is going to let the market go down without a fight, right? He keeps pressuring the Fed chairman, lower interest rates, and the guy has been, believe it or not, actually listening to him. But I don't know, guys. I think that eventually, and it depends on I think Trump's going to get reelected. I'll put it that way. I really do. But in the next, I would start to get worried probably about, maybe like the second year of his second term. That's when you might start seeing the market, because after that, they're going to start looking at who's going to be the next president, right? And so if it's Democrat or if it's a liberal socialist and I'm not trying to get too political, but we've already seen what these socialists want to do. They want to give free to everybody. Well, how are they going to pay for that? They're going to pay for it by raising your taxes. And we've already heard from Wall Street what happens if Elizabeth Warren is elected, if Bernie Sanders is elected, then the market's going to crash. So if there's any sign of that going on, that they might get elected, then this market is going to hell. And you better get the hell out. Right?
Yeah.
And I'll just put it, that's just my view, right, of what I see. But to me, the market is telling me that, early on at least, it looks like they're not worried about the socialist Democrats. They think Trump's going to get reelected and screw this impeachment stuff that's going on right now. Because if there was really something to this impeachment, we would see the markets going down, right? They're always ahead of us. So that's why when I look at the markets always tell you in advance what's going to happen, right? It's just a matter of reading it. So I can sit here and see the markets going up, and I'm like, I see this stuff on TV about impeachment. Really? He's not going to, yeah, they could do it in the House, but it's not going to happen in the Senate. So he's not going to get removed from office. It's all smoke and mirrors, right? So what we have to worry about is let's just start watching like what happens in March, April, when you start getting these debates going on and who's really going to be the candidate on the Democrat side. Who's going to be the front runner? Then we'll get an idea, right? If Hillary decides to come out and run again, then who knows? We may get a dip in the market because they think she might have a chance. You know what I'm saying? So we have to watch for stuff like that. But until then, it's bullish, and why fight it? There's going to be little pullbacks here and there. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be little drops and pullbacks. It just happens, right? Nothing goes straight up. It doesn't go straight down. There's going to be pullbacks. But when you start to see and clue in on like a major reversal, and we can see that on candlestick patterns, we can see it on indicators, that's when we have to pay attention, right? So that's my 2 cents, and I'm sorry to babble, but that's my view.
JR?
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, just one more thing, if I could. One more.
Absolutely. I got your chart back up. Yep.
Okay, this is the BLX brand new token, that liquid index for Bitcoin. It's the longest chart supposedly in existence.
Oh, wow.
You know, we did it here.
Yeah.
And then look what we did today. I mean, we tested it a couple of weeks ago,
Uh-huh.
and then today we did below it.
Uh-huh.
If we close above it,
Yeah.
that might be the trigger, man.
It really could. It really could.
And then this is
And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Look at your chart there. It's like, you know, crap, my pointer focus. I got to change it back. It's like, let me get it back to black here. There we go. So look at this. It's like we had this corrective nature going down, right? Bull market, right? This thing is still in a bull market. We've had a bear right here, right? But this thing is overall a bull market going up. We've had dips come back and test the trend line. And then we had a bull market here. And now what is this? This is just corrective nonsense. That is just corrective bullcrap right there. And so this thing out of nowhere could surprise everybody and go a lot higher and just leave the, you know what I'm saying? Leaving them holding the bag.
Oh, exactly.
It could turn into full Momo at any point. But at the same time, nothing is ever a given. So if this breaks, then it could just crater, right?
Yeah.
But does anybody really think it's going to crater? I mean, I don't see that. I really don't. Not in my opinion. I could be wrong.
Well,
I could be wrong.
I don't know if it. What I'm getting at, if it does crater, I think we could be in the area that it would take, you know, another 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've heard people talk that, especially like major chartists and stuff like that, talk about Bitcoin is not going to be at 50,000 by the time of halving. That it could be at 5,500. And sure it could. Absolutely it could. There's no predictive powers out there that tell us one way or the other where it's going. And again, I'll point out, if we knew this, I wouldn't be on here, Joe wouldn't be on here, and none of you would be on here. We would all be on a beach somewhere drinking cocktails, right? And not even worrying about the market. If I had that kind of power and predictive ability, then yeah. Okay, so I got a couple of calls right on Bitcoin. That doesn't mean that the next call is going to be the same way. I'm just going off percentages and what I see in the past and comparing it to what's going on now. I can only trust my indicators, and Joe is the same way. We're not magicians. We're not predictive guys that, you know, that can just hold your hand. I mean, we want to hold your hand, but give you percentages to look at, right? All these things are about percentages, okay? I mean, you can go on some other channel and, hey, I've got this so-called indicator that is going to tell me every time that it's going to go up or it's going to go down. Well, great. I mean, show me your numbers of who you're making money for. That's what I'm saying for. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we do our best to try to teach you and give you the tools to help yourself and help you not lose money, but make money. And I've tried in the past to teach everybody, if you get into a play and you follow my indicator or my plan, trading plan, you get in, you don't fall in love with it, you make money, but then you hold some just in case it goes to the moon, right? And then put your stop loss at your entry price. And if it goes below that, then you're out, but you made money. Then you compound it. So anyway, enough of my babble. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to get off on my soapbox.
No, that's all true.
Yeah. All right, Joe, what do you got there? I see something. It looks like an RSI indicator, or no, is that a line chart? Oh, that's a line chart of BLX. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the RSI. And the last time we crossed the 40 up to the high side was, back in March, and when it went to the recent high that we were at. And then finally we've come all the way back, hit it, we bounced, and maybe made a higher, whatever, a higher low here. If we can keep the momentum going, that might be, something to consider. Of course, at the same time, this, where we are now, this doesn't trade over the weekend. That's why institutions like this as well, is that it takes out some of the, excess trading on the weekend. It's just Monday through Friday. And,
Yeah.
the BLX. But see, even on the daily, we came below that long-term trend line, closed above it, and then, somebody or something or whatever said, no, we're not going to continue. We're not going to get a confirmation another daily close under that line. We're going to reverse it.
Yeah, it's basically just an overthrow. It's a slight overthrow. And you see that slight, if you scroll back, you see that slight overthrow back in here? No. Go back the other way. Go back the other way.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Way?
There you go. Right back here.
Oh, yeah, right here?
Yep. Slight overthrow, and then what happened after that? See that?
Yeah.
Right there.
Gotcha.
Slight overthrow, and then look what happened.
Yeah, it stopped right there and then reversed.
Yep.
And we saw what happened.
Yeah, you got a slight overthrow. So
Wow.
either that, or maybe, I don't know if you misdrew the line. You may scroll in and see if maybe it was.
Well, I drew it on the. Well, see, here's another one here.
Yeah.
No, that was more like that's the same one. Never mind. Yeah, it doesn't.
Oh, there you go.
really
Yeah. So you had it right, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
Like right through here.
Yep.
Yeah. On that. But,
Yep.
Yeah, it's hard to draw those.
It is. It really is. It's hard to get it spot on unless you got that magnet. You got to get that magnet on there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yep. Get that magnet on there, and that'll get it on there really close.
Yeah. But see, that's why, for me, I'm so stupid. I use the weekly, and that way I can halfway.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It doesn't have to be spot on. I mean, nothing's going to hit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not going to hit it spot on every time. There's no way. Not even fibs do that.
Gotcha.
But it's just an area. You know what I'm saying?
But that's interesting how it,
Yeah.
came under.
Oh, yeah.
Pulled up.
Sure
I mean,
is.
we can't make a $100 billion trade off of one.
No, you sure can't. No, you can't. I mean, that's what I was saying. I mean, if we made the correct call every freaking time, then we wouldn't be here, right?
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. I'd be with you on a beach somewhere enjoying cocktails and having.
And I would be buying. Okay?
Right. Exactly. Oh man. Yeah, this is good stuff. All right, so it looks like we're starting to lose some people. Everybody's probably getting tired of our rambling. Does anybody have any other chart requests or anything you want us to go over? Ixler said he's ready for the Bitcoin bear to be over. He's been holding his bags since the 2017 peak. Oh, if you Googled how not to invest, my picture would come up. Ixler, all I can say is just hang in there, buddy. I mean, try to, follow Joe or me. We'll teach you the right ways, but you have to be patient, right? You're not going to get your money back immediately, okay? And I've tried to tell people that before. If you got stuck at the top, then you're not going to get your money back like overnight. You're not going to get it back next month. You're probably not going to get it back in the next 6 months. You just have to compound and try to learn from us and make these trades. And don't be afraid to take profits. Don't ever be afraid to take profits. There's nothing wrong. And especially, I mean, it's like, I hate to use this phrase, but there was a guy walking down the street and he saw this millionaire. And he said, man, how did you get to be a millionaire trading stocks? And he said, I sold too soon. Okay? So, you know, it's like, that's what you have to do. You have to take your profits. You can never predict anything in this market. I mean, and that's why I came up with the trading plan that I did, is that if by chance there is a play that comes along and you absolutely hit the bottom, the quote unquote bottom, and you get in and you take your profits and your initial investment out, but still leave a little bit in there, then guess what happens if it goes higher? You still have a position. Build yourself a portfolio. You know, you could have 20 different coins in your bag right now. They may not be really big, but if that was the bottom of the market, then guess what? All those 20 coins are paying you money. Right?
Yeah, just like that Apple chart we looked at.
Yes.
Sold out at
Absolutely. Yeah.
$30. Yeah.
Exactly. Do you think those guys that bought at $1 and sold at $3 and sold everything, they were probably like, hey, I bought Apple at $1 and I sold it all at $3 and all they had was 1,000 shares? Do you think if they sold all those 1,000 shares and then never got back in, do you think they're probably kicking themselves right now? I'll bet you they are. I'll bet you they are. I would almost guarantee you. So it's a patience game, guys. I mean, you have to be patient. You can't expect it overnight. You can't expect it in the next 30 minutes to an hour. It's a long game. And that's where institutions have the advantage on retail guys. They don't give a crap what's going to happen the next day. They don't care what happens next week. They are in it for the long term, right? Because they see something. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Okay, what else we got here? What exchange do you recommend for trading? He's on Coinbase, but doesn't trade BTC. This is Masked Ninja. He uses Coinbase. Fees are outrageous. Okay, so me, I actually spread all my stuff out. Okay, so I use different exchanges. I use Coinbase Pro, which is not a major holding for me. I use KuCoin. I use Bittrex. And I use Binance USA. So I've got all my stuff spread out over 4 different exchanges. Joe?
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, pretty much the same deal, and then even have a couple of wallets here that I just kind of like taking your chips off the table in Vegas and put them in a bag, and have your wife go hide them in the safe in the hotel room so you can't get to them. So yeah, have the same deal. But yeah, I recommend that Coinbase or Gemini, Binance. The bigger ones, especially the Coinbase. And I know you might have to pay a little bit, more or whatever, but honestly, you shouldn't be day trading it.
No, absolutely not. Swing.
Real day traders, they're not trading on Coinbase more than likely. But anyway, yeah. Then even Coinbase has those what they call a vault, which I believe puts it in cold storage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can have whatever. I think it's pretty much whatever coin you're holding. I know they have it for Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin. It's not only a wallet; it's what they call a vault, which I think just completely pulls them off the deal, and they, store it for you.
Yeah. Coinbase Pro. Actually, I said Coinbase, but I use Coinbase Pro. For one of my, I just like I got the app. It's awesome. But I don't use that as my major one. KuCoin has been phenomenal. Low fees. Has been really good. There's not as many altcoins, popular ones, that you would think, but at least Bitcoin's there. They have a good app as well. Bittrex has some coins that other exchanges don't have. DGB in particular is one of them. Which, oh, by the way, I still love DGB. Have you guys not noticed this thing is holding up like through this downtrend? It's still holding in there. So it's almost like there's some accumulation going on. I still love DGB. And then Binance USA. There is Dudex. If you want to trade margin, right, for your Bitcoin, it's only Bitcoin. You could do margin trading there. I would only recommend, okay, and I'm going to say this once. Normally I do not like margin trading, but it can come in handy if you can catch a really good bottom and you're willing to like catch a move, right, so to speak. I do not recommend shorting on margin. Absolutely not. Zero. Do not short anything on margin. Okay? I'm just going to tell you that once, and that's it. I see a lot of people on Twitter doing that, but I'm just telling you, there could be slippage. There could be anything that could happen when you short something. And here's the deal. When you short on margin, you are borrowing money. Okay? Borrowing money. And if that thing goes against you and there's slippage, or you forget to put in a stop loss, and all of a sudden you get a move like today in Bitcoin, I will promise you, there are probably thousands of people out there right now that didn't have stop losses and that were trading on a small margin account that are getting phone calls right now. They're getting phone calls. Pay me my money. And trust me, they will go after them. Okay? So you could lose your house, lose your car, you could lose everything. The worst thing that can happen is if you long on margin, is that you're only going to lose what is in your account. That's it. They will liquidate you, and that's all. That's it. That's all they can do. If it goes against you on the short side, you're in trouble. Okay? So that's all I'm going to say about margin. You can make a lot of money, but you got to be really, really good, and you got to be really, 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 really quick. You can't sit there and hold something for, a week or 2 weeks, okay? Because you're paying interest on that. So if you see something that you think is going to make a big move, then you could trade margin, but you got to be really quick. You got to get out quick. You can make some good money, don't get me wrong, but you got to be quick. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Let's see, what else? No, I haven't cracked a beer. Let's see. That was probably my chair. Did you hear that? A little popping sound in my recliner. Let's see. Fees are outrageous. Ixler, in it for the long haul, trying to learn. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Just follow... Like I say, follow me or Joe. Joe's got his channel over there. Is it Patreon, Joe?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Patreon. Go over there, follow him, follow me. Between the two of us. And who knows? Maybe one of these days we'll collaborate and come up with a channel of our own. What do you think, Joe?
Man, I don't know if Twitter can handle that, but yeah.
We could. We absolutely could.
Seriously, that would, man, we'd be taking over.
I'm telling you. Well, let's think about it. This may be something we'll work on. Who knows? And then Ixler, somebody just crack a beer? No, that was just my chair. And never use margin. Okay, so if anybody else new that has just joined, if you have any chart requests, just type them in channel real quick. We'll take a look at it. Any chart requests? What else can we look at? What have we not looked at? Let's see. XRP is just kind of... Yeah. I mean, it's going to pretty much do the same thing as Bitcoin. Bitcoin is... Oh, here we go. So Bitcoin, here's what I want to see happen. And I'm going to pull it over real quick on the daily chart. Here we go. All right. So, if Bitcoin, which has broken above, and I think I may sneeze, hang on. Nope. It broke above the 10 EMA, got wicked above the 20, but now here we are, we're coming back to the 10 EMA. And I pointed this out time and time again. What I want to see happen, and it could slightly go below it a little bit, but what I want to see is I want to see it hold half of this candle, this big green candle, right? And let me throw on a fib retracement, and let's see where everything lines up. So, because we're getting a retrace right now, okay? So let's go do this. There's the 50, 38. Uh-oh, why is that not working? Why are my lines screwed up? Oh, here we go. Let's see. Level lines. Well, okay, so anyway, my lines aren't coming up, but the 38.2 retracement lines up at 70.59. Okay? And that's exactly where the 10 EMA is. So if this thing is going to be very bullish, then we want to hold 7,000. I'll just call it 7,000. Okay? Hold 7,000 and we're going higher. Okay? If not, we're coming back to 6,800 and then we'll see what happens there. But that's what I got on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And get that out of the way. I don't know why those lines did not populate the way they should. Okay. ETH. Joe, you want to take a look at Ethereum?
Oh, yeah. That was my chair that time. Yeah. Let me get on the right. Got it right up. Here. Okay, here's your weekly. You already had it kind of drawn out with your next low pivot support areas. Hopefully we won't need those. Got to break up above this, downtrend line, but we're above it. Let's look at the daily more realistic. Yeah, we have that long downtrend line, and yeah, today's candle. Wednesday's candle took out just barely though yesterday's bearish engulfing candles. It's kind of like bears bulls, but we hold in here to hold above the that blue dash line. Yeah, we can make a higher low here and then try to make a run for the high side, and I would say probably 140. We should know how good we're running by that time. Let me see if there's any. I like to keep these charts real clean. here. We still got that 21 right above it. Be nice to be able to get a daily close above both those moving averages. But if they want to know, is it time to get in or not, that's every man's decision. But, really I'd like to see, and I keep saying that, here's a high pivot here, and then kind of, or a lower high. See, we had a high, lower high, as we come down. If we could take out one of these, pivots up here, I'm trying to see where all that, here's a low pit. I guess the first spot, anything over 140, maybe take a first position, and then see how we consolidate in here if we do so, and then once we get above this high pivot here and that down trend line, maybe $10 higher, going for that second position if you haven't gotten a position yet. But of course, if we've already made a low here, and then if we come up here and close a daily, up here, that would be a high, then a higher high. That wouldn't be a bad place either. I know I'm giving you, 1,000 different places to get in at. I'm just trying to, make sure this thing is, reversing or has a higher chance of probability that we're, reversing to the high side. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
We're pretty much on the same page. I'll just show you real quick my Ethereum chart, and I have not changed a thing on this. Okay? But look at this. I had a fib cluster right here, and I have not looked at an Ethereum chart probably in a week, but I had a fib cluster right here at 116, 115, and look what happened. Right there. That's where it bounced off of, right?
Gotcha.
Fib cluster. There was one from this high or this low to this high that gave us this, and there was another one that came back, and I'll get my mouse on it, from here to here that led back down to here. So a cluster right there with underlying support back to February of this year. So there is some support right here, and obviously if this all breaks, we're going down and testing the lows at sub 100, probably 77.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We could get a double. Yeah.
We could get a double bottom down here. It's possible, but getting this bounce off this fib cluster right here is probably a relief bounce. And so let's see how this plays out, because obviously this whole move, who knows, it could turn up, right? Just like back in here, everybody thought, if I scroll back, right? Everybody thought Ethereum was probably going back down to 23?
Yeah.
And it didn't. It stopped right here. You get a little move up, and then you get a little move down, and we're making a possible higher low. And then obviously you want to see it take out these highs, but that's a long ways out, right? So we're just focusing on the near term. Okay, so Fabio has a question. Hey, Masters, I'm learning Bollinger Bands as much as I can, and you said that once the candle crossed the upper or bottom line of the BB, the price should go down. Why sometimes it go way above the line? Well, Fabio, so let me get something out here real quick. Let me just pop in. Well, because it's basically on your Bollinger Bands, and I'll explain this. Okay? Bollinger Bands are basically an average of your resistance to the upside or your support to the low side, right? So when they spread out, your support goes lower, right? When they start dropping, your support goes lower. These things spread out, right? Because it could pop back up. It's possible, right? But that's going to be your resistance line. So now what are we looking at, right? Look here. And I can go back. So what happens back to Bitcoin back in here? Price was at support, and if I had the old fib lines, I'm sure I could show it, but I don't. I took them out. But this was a support line right in here, probably a fib retracement line. And then it comes up and gets above the Bollinger Bands, and there was resistance that I had drawn back in here. And if I hadn't taken it out, there was probably a fib number as resistance right over in this area. See all this cluster of everybody that wants to get out? They sell off, price comes down, you get people getting the hell out, they're panicking, and then all of a sudden they reverse it back and they come back to the mean line. Right? Here's your mean line. That's your old area of consolidation. So that's going to be resistance. So nobody likes it. It can't get above it. And then what happens? You get everybody going, okay, I'm getting the hell out. And I'm just thinking like a ordinary investor, right? I'm just like, okay, well, it can't get above that. I'm getting the hell out. Okay? And then it comes down. It makes a lower low. People start panicking. Price gets below the Bollinger Band, creeps back inside, goes sideways, back below the Bollinger Band again. And so now what are we looking at? We want to get above this 20-day moving average. All right? And especially like Joe has talked about, we want to get above the 50. Okay? So if we get past this, then we're going to go back and we're going to test the 200 and the 233 back up in here. That's right around 9,000. And in my view, and this is my opinion only, okay, I don't know if anybody else is going to say this, but I think that eventually we're going to get back up into here. I'm looking at this scenario, right, that I talked about earlier, this fib-based trend retracement. This move on the downside equaled this downside, price-wise. Hit it right on the button. If price does what it did in the past, and that's all we can do, right? We're going off past experience. This move right here equals this move right up here. Okay, which coincidentally hits the 78.6 retracement, which is a major reversal area. Now, I'm not saying it's going to get there totally. The 61.8 is also very important, which is also at the 200-day moving average. So 9,000 is an area I want to watch if we can keep the momentum going. Right? And that's all you can do. You can sit there and go, okay, well, if this thing is going to continue higher, where am I going to get out at? Okay? Well, your first stop is the 38, this area right in here, right? Old congestion. Your next area, obviously, if it gets through this, then it's coming up here, regardless. I don't care what anybody says. If it breaks, 8,000, we're going to make a 1,000-point move to 9. And I'm just calling it right now. So that's my view on it. But that's how Bollinger Bands work. I mean, if price gets below, you don't see it stay below very long, right? Look back over here. Or if it hits the bottom of it. Hits the bottom, comes back, tests the top. Comes back, tests the bottom. Comes up a little bit, tests the moving average, and then drops. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's a no-brainer to me when I see price, and you can look at this on any time frame chart. It's not just daily charts. Go look at an hourly, go look at a 4-hour, anything. Price does not stay below Bollinger Bands very long, right? You just have to wait for that candle to close, and once it closes, if price is below it, then you better be thinking about taking an entry. Either that, or if you're the shorting kind and you like to short stuff, then short it. Right? Here's outside the Bollinger Bands. Drops. Outside the Bollinger Bands. Gets back in. It's good for a little bounce. It's not like a major big time move. But back here, outside Bollinger Bands. Huge move. Comes back inside. Tests the lower side. Hits the EMAs. Can't get through. Guess what? Drop. Hits the EMAs. Drop. Now we're above the 10 EMA. Testing the 20. Actually got above it a little bit. So guess what? Next area to me is 75 to 7,600. And then we'll see what happens right there because the 50's right there. Right at the upper Bollinger Band. So those are areas you have to watch, right? And that's where you can take your profits. If you got into it down here or in here, then don't be afraid to take profits off the table. You can always get back in. It's not like it's going to go just, to the moon, to 13,000. You're not going to miss anything. We can always come back and reevaluate charts at any time. Okay, sorry to babble. All right, Joe, I'm going to get that off there. Do you got anything you want to cover? I got my chart off there.
No, you guys about wore me out mentally here. Good stuff, though. Good stuff.
Okay, Fabio. Nice. Just answered 2 questions. Okay. Yeah, absolutely, Fabio. Yeah, just if you have any questions, if you're in my channel, send me a message. Send me a private message if you have any questions. If anybody wants to do a one-on-one, I have no problems. Just send me your message. We'll work it out on live stream, not live stream, but I'll do a one-on-one video stuff and just kind of show you. So, all right, Joe, you got anything else on your mind, buddy?
Oh, not really. Just everyone have a great Christmas and don't necessarily get caught up in all the I don't know, gifts and giving and everything. I know as adults, we do that for the kids, and really all this for the kids. But,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And just enjoy that family time, and as the older we get, you start losing family, sometimes friends, stuff like that. So I don't know. The older I get, the more precious every minute is. So.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. No doubt. So this being probably our last live stream before Christmas and everything, I just want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And me and Joe, I think Joe, tell me if you're right. I think maybe we can start doing some stuff, together here and grow this thing and get everybody going. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but, I kind of like what's happened tonight. We had a lot of viewers, and I think we could really grow this thing. So,
right. Oh yeah, I'd like to do that.
Yeah. Yep. So, there you go, guys. Me and Joe are gonna start collaborating and working together a little bit more, and try to teach you guys some stuff, and we'll do some more live streams. I think it helps, obviously, when you're doing stuff visually, and you get a couple people talking about it and whatnot. I think we can do a lot of good things for you guys. So anyway, guys, Joe, thank you so much for coming in tonight. Been a pleasure. It's been a long one. We've been over 2 hours. It doesn't seem like it, but right at 2 hours. But good stuff, man. This has been awesome. But we'll do it again, and I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Obviously to your loved ones as well, and we'll talk soon.
Gotcha. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.